Early on a May afternoon, a tornado made a direct hit on the building and destroyed it. With over 550 students and teachers in the building, there were only a few minor injuries. Their lives were saved months ago. Listen.
When the storm hit, we were in the process of taking a math test, junior, senior class, and when the siren sounded, I didn't have to give any instructions at all. Everyone stood straight up, came out the doors, and we lined up along the lockers right here.
I don't think a lot of kids didn't really believe that it was going to happen, because a lot of kids were going to say they're going to be real neat and sit up here and watch it.
Somebody came in and said that there was a tornado drill and that we were supposed to go to the hall, and we'd had drills before, and we pretty well knew what we were supposed to do. We hadn't had it in this class, but they had told us. And so we was supposed to go out through the doors over here and go out into the halls for where we were supposed to be covered.
And we were all laughing and giggling like it was just another routine drill. And they had us all sit down. And then after a while, the wind started blowing pretty hard. And I looked outside this door, and I saw trees bending over pretty far. And the teacher started yelling, "Keep your heads down." And I knew it was a tornado.
You know, we knew it wasn't a drill because they hadn't sounded the all clear, but, you know, nobody really thought anything was coming off because we sat out here for 10 minutes and all we had was heavy rain, and that was about it.
The teacher was kind of worried about everybody, and we got down the hall here and come down the hall and went down the steps, and there's a storage room down there that we went into, and
the teacher started moving everybody out, and as soon as the wind started coming through, everybody ran up there, and everybody started huddling together and hanging on to each other because everybody was scared of us. You know, nobody knew who was going to live or not. And
people started looking around, and then all of a sudden you could feel it. You could feel the wall shaking, and everybody got as low as they could. They were trying to dig through the tile to get as low as they could.
And finally they started to shut the doors, and everybody started getting kind of worried, you know, and they said, "Get down on the floor," so we got down on the floor, and then the next thing I knew, the electricity went off, and we was all sitting around, and then it hit. There was just tremendous noise, and the door started. You could hear the doors rocking, and then a couple of glass pieces flew in, hit the door, and you could hear glass flying and tables and chairs running up against each other.
And all I knew was the wind was coming through the halls, and everything was crashing in. People were screaming and crying and praying, and everybody's just hanging on to each other because nobody knew whether or not they were going to live or die.
I was bent down, and I felt some stuff started flying all over the place, and I looked up once, and I looked through the roof because there wasn't no roof there. And so I reached back down and shut my eyes, and I didn't have no T-shirt on because I just come out of gym class, and I could feel the stuff hitting our back, and I know everybody else could too. And you could feel the wind trying to push you down the hall. It was so strong.
I could hear things blowing all over and glass breaking, and after a while I looked up and saw this, and concrete blocks were falling, and glass was hitting me in the back and just falling all over, and rubble was falling all over. And I put my arm around two girls and tried to keep them calm, and one of them started crying, and then it was over real suddenly. And I looked up, and the whole place was a shambles.
After it was over, you could look down this hall, and at least from my vantage point right there, I couldn't see any bodies. All I could see was legs and arms sticking through the rubble. And I thought, you know, half the total student body down here was dead, and the others were probably hurt. But then when you started throwing off the blocks and the roofs, everybody just got up and went down the hall.
If it wasn't for the tornado drill we had a couple weeks ago, we had a tornado drill 3 weeks ago, and everybody knew basically what to do about it and stuff. So if it wasn't for that, we might not have been quite so organized. And the teachers had a big part in it too.
Kids were good. It just went off well.
We came awful close.
This school has just been through a tornado.
The weather was kind of gloomy, and when we heard the siren, we weren't real surprised. We thought it was just another drill, because we'd had them all year.
The teacher started moving everybody out, and as soon as the wind started coming through, everybody ran up there, and everybody started huddling together.
So we was supposed to go out through the doors over here and go out into the halls where we were supposed to be covered.
Then it hit, there was just tremendous noise, and the doors started, you could hear the doors rocking, and then a couple of glass pieces flew in, hit the door, and you could hear glass flying and tables and chairs running up against each other.
After it was over, you could look down this hall, and all I could see was legs and arms sticking through the rubble. It was remarkable that nobody was killed.
If we hadn't had drills, we'd know what to do.
This school was ready. Is yours? This school has just been through a tornado.
When the siren sounded, I didn't have to give any instructions at all. Everyone stood straight up, came out the doors, and we lined up along the lockers right here.
Everything was crashing in. People were screaming and crying and praying, and everybody's just hanging on to each other because nobody knew whether or not they were going to live or die.
If we hadn't had drills, we'd know what to do.
This school was ready. Is yours?